Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Cattle-Lackie in Hubbard, Nebraska. Well, if you recall, last episode I said that would be our last episode in the 1st of September and we would be moving on. Well, I lied. Because there is one more thing that I did want to accomplish, and I wanted you all with me when I did it. We finished up our day at the ranch and we're headed back home. But we stopped at the shop because we needed a few things. A bucket for our tractor, pallet fork, and a water tanker. And we're going to head back to the homestead, and I'll explain to you why all of this stuff is important. In the meantime, I will recap for you kind of what we've been able to accomplish today. So it's been a full, rich day, and part of the reason why it's been so busy is, well, because I was under the impression that I was only going to get one day in September, as you recall. Well, it turns out we are going to get a second day in September. After I finished all of our work, I copied my game save over and decided to move ahead in time to see what came up next, and I was shocked when October did not roll around, but instead September 2nd. So all of the unreasonable amount of work that I accomplished on my first day of work as the farm manager at J.D. Russell's ranch actually turned out to be a good thing. So this way, the 2nd of September won't be quite so hairy, and we might be able to accomplish a few things that we otherwise would have had to pass on. So anyway, what did we get done? As you saw most things, we were able to get the cattle fed, finally, after much fun and folly. We purchased a forage harvester and header and began chopping corn to put up in the fermenting silo. We set up a second fermenting silo, and I managed to fill both of them up. So we have 1.4 million liters of chaff currently undergoing the process of being converted to silage. I was tempted to put up a third fermenting silo to make sure that we would have more than enough to get through the winter and well into next season. But again, doing my famous back of the envelope math, I have decided that the 1.4 million liters we have, combined with the hay that we currently have and the hay that we'll likely get going forward into the spring and summer of next year, should get us by until we can begin cutting corn again. And in the event that we do need additional silage, I think that we will have enough grass production that we could potentially cut grass and use it for silage in the fermenting silo. So we're going to go with what we've got, which is all well and good because, candidly, it took an unimaginable amount of time to cut 1.4 million liters of corn using a forage harvester. And that was me running 52,000 liter trailers back and forth to the field, pulling one out that was full and replacing it with one that was empty. As you recall, we started cutting the corn on the field closest to the farm there, and I managed to do several headlands and probably about 13 or 14 up-down rows, and that was all it took to harvest 1.4 million liters. So there's a good abundance of that corn still sitting there. And that's really a good thing, because something I didn't realize about corn, I was kind of sweating this, frankly, because in October, that corn will become ready to harvest and we'll be able to get in the field and start harvesting it. But the one thing I did notice about corn, and I'll show you that here in a second, when you look at the growth calendar, you will notice that the harvest period for corn goes all the way into February. So we don't need to worry about our corn withering until March of next year. Now, that said, I do want to get that corn harvested, because several of those fields I want to turn right around if I possibly can, and most hopefully get in a wheat crop, a winter wheat crop, because we are going to need straw next summer. So as long as we haven't missed the window for that, I'd like to do that as soon as possible. But some of that corn we can obviously leave sit. And here we are. So this is the OG Farm Homestead. Not much to it. We're just kind of down in this little valley off by ourselves. We have a pretty useless barn over there. You'll recognize that thing. We have a pretty neat little cabin there, which we can actually enter. And believe it or not, we have in here a really neat wood stove. We have our sleep trigger, and we have our wardrobe trigger. So yeah, not much to it, but it's home. And must be growing a tree there. Interesting. Well, that makes sense. That's a great segue, because trees seem to be the order of the day for our little homestead here. So what do we own? Well, we own this piece of property, which is where we stand here. Again, this barn. There's essentially nothing in it other than a little bit of garbage. Not much that we can do anything with. And I did check, this building cannot be sold, so we are stuck with it. But that's kind of neat. It offers a little bit of character. We have a few implements. We have a flatbed trailer, a Lizard flatbed trailer, drop deck flatbed. We have a plow, which should eventually come in handy. We have my favorite international tractor. And we have all that up there. So we own that entire hillside, which is essentially all grass at the moment. And we have that building, and more on that in a moment. But essentially, we have all of this up here. And my initial thought is, once we can get going, if we have enough money, or if we can secure enough money, my hope is to mow this, to turn it to hay, to essentially bale it, and to get what we can for it. We are coming up on the end of the year when hay does sell for a little bit better money. Maybe if I have enough money, can possibly get a bale wrapper and turn the whole shooting match into silage and really make some money, because silage does sell well on this map. But essentially, we own everything. Let's see. Let me bring the map up, and it can probably save again. So we are, again, the farm is here. JD's farm is here. This is the main shop area right here, and we are here. So yes, we own this entire grass hill back here. So as you can tell, we're only about halfway back right now, and on the crest of the hill. So everything back there is ours as well. So there's a lot of grass here, a lot of opportunity to make some money. And wait for it, there's more. One of the reasons why I was really interested in this piece of property is because it comes with its own built-in income opportunity. And I will show you what those are here in just a moment. We're going to grab the tractor and unload the implements that we have, grab our water tanker, and head back into the woods over here. And we have our nice little dry stream bed here as well. So let me get in here. Disconnect our disconnect our trailer. Jump over here and park. There we go. Okay. Oh shoot. Bear with me a moment, folks. Sorry about that. The game volume was just obnoxiously loud in my ear. Speaking of game volume, I noticed I just finished uploading the first episode. So hopefully you guys have gotten your first taste of my futility. And hopefully I'll receive some wonderfully constructive feedback from y'all. But anyway, as I was editing it, I did notice that the game volume seemed a bit loud. I didn't think it was obnoxiously loud, but it did seem a bit loud to me. So I did adjust it. I did turn it down Hopefully I haven't gone too far the other direction. All right. Let's take our implements over here and get them parked away. We'll grab our bucket. I hope this bucket works out okay. I'm probably going to need a weight. I do not have one of those. But this is, as you'll see when it gets on here, a pretty substantial bucket. About 2,000 liters worth of substantial, which is probably bordering on the unreasonable. But that's okay. When we need to start shoveling, we will be able to shovel fairly quickly, providing we don't raise the rear end off the ground. All right, let's put this away, hook up to the water tanker, and take a little ride. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave this here. Might be easier to maneuver back there without the front end loader on. Excellent. Okay. Those of you who watched the Midwest Contractor series know that this happens to be one of my two favorite tractors in the game. Doesn't go very fast. It's not super high powered, but it's just a workhorse, and it seems to do everything well. And it will handle implements beyond its horsepower rating pretty well. I did not want an articulated water trailer. However, I did want 10,000 liters. The reason for that will become apparent in a moment. And this was the only thing that was reasonably affordable that carried 10,000 liters. So here we are. So as you can see back here, our property comes complete with several apple trees. And beyond the apple trees, we have grape orchards, or grapevines, that will obviously produce apples and, well, grapes for us. So what we need to do now is get these things filled up with water so that they can start producing. And remember that building up front when I said more on that later? Well, that building up front is a production. And it is a nice little homestead production that produces apple juice and, well, grape juice. This is a collection of Omatana mods, Omatana grapevines, Omatana apple trees, and an Omatana juice production that will produce apple juice and grape juice. So we will produce apple juice and grape juice to the best of our ability and sell it. So that will supplement our farm manager income. Okay, now for the fun part. I got to try to back up here. Okay. Let's go get another load. Yeah, I really like Omatana's mods. I don't think there is a modder out there that does a more uniquely neat job with their work as she does. She's incredibly meticulous, very detail oriented, and I just love the fact that when you download her mods, you don't typically get any surprises. Everything works. Her map. Let's see. I don't remember. Was it Hinterland? I absolutely love that map. The only kind of close to version of a survival series I've done in FS22 was on that map, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was so great. You know, you had everything you needed there. You essentially owned the grain mill / oil mill, which was all one production facility right off the bat. You know, so all you had to do is really buy yourself a piece of property that had some trees on it, cut down some trees to make some money, start buying some implements, and go to town. I think the coolest thing about that map was the fact that all of the growth cycles on the crops, it was more FS19-esque. I think it took 2 months for crops to grow, and that was it. So it didn't matter what you planted. Everything took 2 months to grow. So the turn time on crops and getting them into the productions and getting your products out was really, really quick. And if you put down some productions from the platinum expansion to work with the trees, you could have yourself a pretty successful farm built up and running pretty much in no time. All right, let's get this last one ready to go here. There we go. Perfect. All right, that takes care of the grape orchards. Oh, it dawned on me as I was lamenting how long it's taking this game to save, and then I realized something. I believe the reason why this is taking an inordinate amount of time to save is because I am using a significant number of those expandable pasture nodes in my expandable pasture. That thing holds an unreasonable amount of animals. And I did read that, if you use an excessive number of those expandable pasture nodes, that it will affect the performance of your system. I guess I was expecting it to be affected more in terms of, the visuals, but it turns out that no, it's it's things like saving the game, loading the game, so on and so forth. Okay, so as I said, these are all Omatana mods, and you'll see that they're all similar. So the apple trees, we can produce apples with just strictly water, with apples with water, seeds, and manure, with water, seeds, and solid fertilizer. And it's the same with the grapes. We can produce grapes with water, with grape seeds and solid fertilizer, grape seeds and manure. So we're going to start out with just water. And as you'll see, we have a 10,000 liter tank, and these things just happen to hold 10,000 liters. So we're going to activate them, each one of them with water only, and get them going. And then tomorrow, we're going to have a proposition for JD. He mentioned to me today that he wants me to do something with all this manure. As he said, we are completely covered up in cow shh. So I'm going to offer him a way out of his conundrum. Okay, and just like the grape orchards here, the trees themselves take 10,000 liters. So I'm going to load each one of them up, activate them to start producing apples, and we'll go from there. So I don't suppose you folks probably want to watch me do all that. So I will get started, get this done, and I will be back with you directly. Okay, last apple tree to fill up here. Let's get this done. We'll get these activated and get them producing. 10,000 liters, perfect. Might as well take this back to our water station, get it filling. I don't believe we will be needing it for anything else. These these trees and these vineyards do have automatic irrigation on them. However, I don't feel compelled to use that. I think if we're going to do this, we're gonna go ahead and do it the hard way and haul our water. Which brings me to to a couple other points of order, or I suppose we could call them rules with regards to these productions. Again, this is supposed to help us kind of supplement our income so that we can get get going on building our own individual or personal farm, which is obviously going to take a while. Let's see, apple water activate. Yeah, even though we do have automatic irrigation, I'm not going to turn that on. But we do need to work. So so we're not going to use automatic irrigation. Here's something else we're going to not do is we're not going to distribute. Even though we could, we could go out here and distribute directly to the juice production. And we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and carry the pallets over there. Although that said, and hence why I bought the the pallet forks. That said, as you know, auto load is my friend. And if I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed with pallets and it's no longer fun to be fumbling with them all over this map, I'm going to at least get an auto load trailer to get them over there. But we won't use automatic irrigation. We will manually transfer our product. And there's one other rule. I mean, obviously, if we were growing grapes in game, we would get one harvest a year out of them. So, in these things, these apple trees and these grapes will produce 12 months a year no matter what. Well, that's incredibly unrealistic. So I've decided on kind of a compromise. I will allow the trees and the vineyards to be active during the months of May through October. So, and then I will turn them off. So then in November through April, through the end of April, they will produce nothing. Now, that said, whatever's in the juice production will continue to run. So, I mean, ultimately, it will probably run out during that 6-month period, but it will continue to run. Let's see here. Just bring this thing around and disconnect it. So this way we're not, unreasonably or unrealistically gaining income from a process that just isn't reasonable to think can work. All right, so there's that. We've got our grape orchard and our apple trees going. They're going to start producing apples with just water. I anticipate we're going to get probably 1, maybe 2 pallets per month. So, with 2-day months being the case, we're probably looking at, 1, maybe 1 pallet a day out of each of those productions. Probably more like 1 every day and a half. But that's okay. That will get us going. We'll get us started. So that's where we're at. And this will finally be the end of the first day of September. It's time to rest. We'll do that, and we will move on to the second day of September, where we have an absolute ton of stuff to do, and at the farm, and things that we need to get situated so that we can go into winter as prepared as possible. So I will leave this short episode there for now. And the next time we see each other, it will be the second day of September. If you liked what you saw today, I'd appreciate knowing that. Hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't like what you saw today, please feel free to comment and let me know why. And as always, if you've been watching for a while and you're not subscribed, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing. It would help me and it would help out the channel significantly. Have a great day, everybody.